Kindly recall the discussion we were making in the last class about the twin objectives. Twin objectives. What was the twin objective? Number one, linking overheads to units or services. Number two, control over overheads. These are the twin objectives that we have in the study of overheads. Overhead is a topic. In linking, we have one traditional method. Traditional, the other one being ABC, activity-based costing. Traditional is the one that we have taken up. We have taken up collection, classification, allocation, apportionment, and absorption, CCAA. And we have completed up to step number 3. And step number 4 is the one that we would like to take up for today's discussion. It is secondary distribution summary. What is it we will be doing in secondary distribution? There is summary. So in the last session, we have seen in primary distribution summary, overheads will be allocated to production department and service department. I will not discriminate between production department and service department. I will distribute overheads on some logical base. Rent has got to be distributed based on the floor space. Lighting has got to be distributed based on light points. Depreciation has got to be distributed based on capital value, insurance on capital value, and meal charges based on number of employees. There will be some logic behind as how overheads will get distributed between production department and service department. See, but the problem is that production department will produce units or services, especially units. Service department will not be producing any goods or services which can be charged. So therefore, there will always be a challenge as what we should do with overheads allocated against the service department. So distributing or redistributing this service department overheads to production department is the one that we take up under secondary distribution. Primary distribution is where there is no discrimination between production department and service department, where we distribute on logical basis. But the ultimate objective of linking overheads to units and services, when we do, service department overheads will never be taken for recovery at all. So then it becomes, the entire exercise will become incomplete. Therefore, what we are expected to do is to redistribute service department overheads to production department. Such a redistribution of service department overheads to primary, that is production department, is what you call it out as secondary distribution summary. The entire exercise of redistributing service department overheads to production department is what you call it out as what? Secondary distribution summary. Here is a place where we have two primary methods where you can call it out as non-reciprocal and reciprocal. Under non-reciprocal method, one is direct method, and where you have step down or step ladder system. And in reciprocal, you have two methods where it is repeated distribution method. The other one being simultaneous equation method. So in one problem, we would like to see all the four methods that we are adopting. That is, all the four methods will be used in one particular question. What is that particular question? Now we can take up that for our discussion. So this particular question we have, this question number 2. We would like to take up this particular question and put it over here. In this particular case, I would like to put it over here. So I would like to try this under direct apportionment method. Let me read out the question. A Limited manufactures a number of products. It has two production departments, P1 and P2, and service departments, two in numbers, S1 and S2. The estimated overheads for the year 2025 and interdepartmental relationship matrix are given below. Services provided by S1 and S2, 40%, 50%, and 10%, 50%, 30%, and 20%, and estimated overheads of 7,000, 6,000, 18,000, and 8,000. You are required to calculate overhead cost for P1 and P2 using direct apportionment method, step method, and the reciprocal method. Under that, repeated distribution and simultaneous equation. Now let us just take up firstly direct apportionment method. What is it in direct apportionment method we will do? What is it? Direct apportionment method in which we will do. In direct apportionment method, what is it we will do? So the theoretical understanding for solving the problem is very important to solve. So let me put it this way. S1 will serve only P1 and P2. And it will not serve S2. There is one service department will not serve to another service department. This is the assumption that we make. Similarly, S2 will service only P1 and P2. And it will not serve S1 at all. This is the understanding, this is the assumption that we make. We will simply ignore the other service department, even though practically you serve. For the purpose of computation, we will simply ignore. This is the basic understanding you should have. Then, how is that we will carry out this? No big deal. You have total column, you have P1 column, P2 column, and you have items that we will take up. Firstly, primary distribution summary. Primary distribution summary against P1, it is 7,000, and against P2, it is 6,000. Am I right? So 7,000 and 6,000, the total is 13,000. Correct? Now, S1 item, on what basis I will distribute? I will have items column, I will have basis column, total column, P1 column, and P2 column. S1 services are distributed between P1 and P2 in the ratio of 40:50. That is 4:5. I simply ignore this 10% for this purpose. So how much is that you have against S1? It is 18,000. So if I take 18,000 and distribute in the ratio of 4:5, it is going to be 8,000 and 10,000. See, at CA intermediate level, don't ask us how 18,000 is getting distributed. What is the computation that is involved? But under examination condition, you got to tell that 18,000 divided by 4 plus 5, 9, multiplied by 4, that should give you 8,000. Similarly, 18,000 divided by 4 plus 5, multiplied by 5, that should give you 10,000. So, in a time where time is really a scarce commodity, let us not spend time on to this computational aspects. I hope that you people know how to handle it. Yes, too. How much is the expenditure? Expenditure is 8,000. What is the basis between them? 50:30, 5:3. 5:3 is the basis on which 8,000 will get distributed. So it is 5,000 and 3,000. Matter got over. Now 13,000 plus 18,000, 31, 39,000 is the total. And 20,000 against P1 and 19,000 against P2. Correct? Now the object of bringing all overheads against production department so that you recover overheads with number of units produced you are achieving. So the assumption that we have made in direct apportionment is that service department will not assume that it is serving to another service department. Yes, one will serve its own department, it will ignore it, and what it services S2 department also it will ignore. This is what you have in the case of direct method. Direct apportionment method is over this way. I hope that you are clear with direct apportionment method. So now what is the next thing that we are going to do? Next thing that we are going to do is same problem where we would like to do it under step method. What is it we will be doing in the case of step method? So you call this a step method or step down method, step down method or step ladder method. Okay. How do we take it up? What is the assumption that we will be making? That means S1 will serve P1 and P2 and S2. Where S1 I would like to take it up first. S1 is a service department where it will serve production department 1, production department 2 and S2. Then S2's overhead will be done only for P1 and P2 and S1 will be disregarded. Where I have started S1 first. Where S1 first. There is another way of looking into the subject matter, S2 first. So S2 overheads will get distributed between P1 and P2 and S1. Then S1's overhead will be distributed between P1 and P2. And S2 will not be taken up at all. There are two different ways of doing things we have. What is that? You take up S1 first, distribute in this pattern, and you can try the other alternative where you can distribute S2 first. S1 first you can try and work out, and S2 also you can work out like that. So that is the way the question is also asked. Supposing under examination conditions, they have given you that do under step down or step ladder method without indicating which one is firstly to be taken, whether S1 should be taken or S2 should be taken up. Now, in that particular case, how do you judge that S1 should be taken first or S2 to be taken first? Here is a place where I would like to tell a very important thing. If you take up S1, how much of its services had gone? Majority to production department. S1 serving 90% of its cost to P1 and P2. Whereas S2 servicing 50 plus 30, 80%. Correct? Which of the two service department had rendered majority of its services to production department? S1. Therefore, take up S1 first. Are you understanding? If the problem is silent, on what basis you got to judge? Based on whichever service department which provides maximum of their services to production department. In this case, S1 had rendered 90% of its existence only for other production department and only a very nominal 10% had gone to S2. Whereas in the case of S2, 80% only they have given, 20% of the service they have given to S1. So if the problem is silent and if you want to work out on the step ladder, S1 first is what you have to take up. This is the theory. Now, how do we approach the problem? So now let me just try S1 first. Like direct method, Here I will be taking up basis, total, P1, P2, S2. Because S2 I will keep it there. As per primary distribution summary, against a P1, it is 7,000, P2 6,000, S2 8,000. So I am taking up 7, 6 and 8, 21,000 into primary distribution total. This is given in the problem. S1 I will take up first. S1 when I take up first, in that basis, I got to do as 4:5:1. That is 40:50:10, 4:5:10. And how much of the service of S1 that we are going to take up? 18,000. I will take up 18,000 here and distribute 18,000 of which 40% to P1, 7,200, 9,000 and 1,800. Is that right? So this 18,000 is getting distributed between P1, P2 and S2 in the ratio of 4:5:1. Is that okay? Then S2. When I do this S2, then it is between P1 and P2 in the ratio of 5:3. So the figure is going to be 9,800. 9,800 from here. So 9,800 I will distribute between P1 and P2 in the ratio of 5:3. 9,800 divided by 8 into 5. 6,125. This got to be reduced from 9,800. 3,675. Now you effect the total. 21,000 plus 18,000 plus 9,800. So this particular figure will get duplicated. So this figure I will never be taking up. 39,000 only I will take it up, because this 9,800 is getting distributed here. Just for the sake of computation, I have just taken up. Is that clear? So I will take up only 39,000. Are you understanding? So now let us just take up 7,000 plus 7,200 plus 6,125. That comes to 20,325. Next one, 15,000 plus 3,675. That comes to 18,675. Against which it is going to be null. So now sum of these two is equal to 39,000. Is that right? Your objective of linking overheads to production of material, I mean the finished goods, you have achieved. Are you understanding? Now, what is it you would do? Next, S2 first. Basis, total, P1, P2, S1. As per primary distribution summary, given 21,000, 7,000, 6,000, 8,000. S2 first. So here I have to put it out as, I should not be copying like that. I'm committing the mistake. It is 18,000. So 7,000, 6,000, 18,000. It is 13 plus 81, 31,000. Correct? S2 first. S2, 8,000. So S2 distribution 5:3:2. 50:30:20. So 8,000 into 5 divided by 10. 4,000. 8,000 into 0.3. 2,400. 8,000 into 0.2. 1,600. Then S1 last. This is S1 first, S2 first, then this is last. This is last. 19,600 negative will get distributed between P1 and P2 in the ratio of 4:5, 40:50, 40:50. 19,600 divided by 9 into 4. 8711. 10,889. If you total up, it comes to 39,000 and 19,711. 6,000 plus 2,400 plus 10,889. That comes to 19,289. Last one nil. So 19,711 and 19,289, if you sum up, it comes to 39,000. Are you understanding? So if the problem is silent, I would have started with this one because majority of its services have gone to other production department, and therefore we would have taken up this one. But in this particular case, they were given specifically that you're going to do it in this fashion. Is that okay? Now, under repeated distribution method, I would like to take up through Excel because a lot of working is involved in the distribution. So therefore, I would like to take up through Excel. So just for the sake of reference, I would like to keep it. Otherwise, absolutely there is no need to have it done. Okay. Now we will take up repeated distribution method. Correct? So what is that? What are the columns that we would like to keep? So we would like to keep P2, P1. I'm sorry. Here, S1 and S2. We will have total column and we will have items, basis, as per primary distribution summary. This is given. Total is 39,000 and it is 7,000, 6,000, 18,000 and 8,000. Correct? So instead of copying, I would like you people to focus as how I am doing it. So I can share the file. There is no problem at all. So just watch out. So firstly, I would like to take up S1. S1, what is the ratio? 4:5:1. This is the ratio. What is that? 4:5:1. So I don't want to make any change in the total column because I have taken up all the departments overheads there. Firstly, I would like to take up this 18,000 within brackets, minus 18,000 within brackets. Now, what is the distribution I got to make? Here, this 18,000, I'll multiply it with 0.4. Next, this 18,000, I will multiply it with 0.5. Then this 18,000, I will multiply it with 0.1. So therefore, this 18,000 is getting distributed for the first time. Correct? Yes, 2. What is the rate at which we would like to make it? 5 is to 3 is to 2. So total column will not undergo any change. So now what is that? We will have minus 9,800. How come minus 9,800 we will take up? The sum of these two of S1 is 9,800. So this 9,800 will get distributed in the ratio of 5 is to 3 is to 2. So equal to 9,800 into 0.5 equal to 9,800 into 0.3 equal to 9,800 into 0.2. So this way I have distributed first time. So you can consider that what I've just done. This is the first run. Now second run I will have to do. So what is that I should do? So in the second run, now 1960 had come. So now I got to distribute 1960 in the ratio of 4 is to 5 is to 1. So 1960 into 0.4 equal to 1960 into 0.5 equal to 1960 multiplied by 0.1. So 196. So this 1960 is getting distributed between P1, P2 and S2. Am I right? This 1960 is getting distributed between P1, P2 and S2 in the ratio of 4 is to 5 is to 1. If you sum up these three, one moment, I think this I have just gone wrong. 1960 multiplied by 0.5. So if I sum up 784 and 980 and 196, it will come to 1960. Is that right? Now, what is that I should do with this? 196 I have to distribute in the ratio of 5 is to 3 is to 2 equal to 196 multiplied by 0.5 equal to 196 multiplied by 0.3. So we can take up to the next number, round off to the nearest number. So here I would like to copy and put it here, but here I got to change the thing. Instead of 0.3, it is 0.2. Now, if you look at the sum of these three, it will be 196. So people might ask this question, sir, how long we got to run like this? Until the numbers are becoming too small to take it up. Now here, what is that I will do? I got to take up minus 39 is equal to 39 multiplied by 0.4 round. So here, this I am copying it here and putting it out. I'm sorry. This I am copying and putting it out here. Here, what is that I've just done? Okay, 9 I've just put. Instead, I would like to put 39. So instead of 0.4, it will be 0.5. So here, Instead of 0.5, it will be 0.1. So if you sum up 36 plus 4, 40 it will be. So this I would like to make it out as 3. I am adjusting so that it is not exceeding 39. Is that okay? Now this 30, or sorry, the 3, I would like to distribute in the ratio of 5:3:2. So which I would like to do it as 2 and 1, and here it is too small to handle, so it is 0. Are you understanding? So now what is that I would like to do? I got to sum it up and ensure that 0 is there against service department, and 20,000 and 19,000 had just come against P1 and P2. Is that clear? What is that name through which you call this one? Repeated distribution method. So how many runs that you're going to make will be dependent on the size of the number that you take up for computation. So don't ever get the impression that you should always run for 3 runs. It could even be 4, or it could even be restricted to 2. Repeated distribution method is over. Then what is the other method that we have? Simultaneous equation method you have. Simultaneous equation method that we will have. What is that we will be doing in the case of simultaneous equation method? In this simultaneous equation method, we will assume S1, the service department, which had their own cost at 18,000 plus 20% of S2 it will take up. Look into the case. 20% of S2 is there in S1. So the overheads of S1 will be its own plus 20% of S2. Similarly, S2 will have how much? 8,000 plus 10% of S1. This can be rewritten as S1 is equal to 18,000 plus 1 by 5 S2. S2 is equal to 8,000 plus 1 by 10 of S1. Now, the first equation, this is A, this is B. So, I would like to put it out this way. S1 is equal to 18,000 plus 1 by 5 of S2. 8,000 plus 1 by 10 of S1. Correct? Everything will be in terms of S1. 18,000 plus 1 by 5 on 8,000 is 1,600 plus 1 by 50 of S1. So S1 equal to 19,600 plus 1 by 50 of S1. So this will make out into where S1 is S1 minus 1 by 50, S1 equal to 19,600, 49 by 50 S1 is equal to 19,600, S1 is equal to 19,600 into 50 divided by 49. So how much it comes to? 19,600 into 50 divided by 49. That comes to S1 for 20,000. And S2 will be 8,000 plus 1 by 10 of 20,000. It comes to 10,000. So this is not the end. This is going to be the starting point of simultaneous distribution method. So simultaneous equation work that you have just carried out. Now, how this distribution has got to be carried out? How the distribution has got to be carried out? Now, watch out of the four methods. This is going to be very, very crucial. So, not simultaneous equation is crucial. What we just do here is going to be very crucial. So, look at the computation. Total P1 and P2. So, basis and items. Primary distribution summary for these two, 7,000 and 6,000, total is 13,000. For S1 and S2, all of you watch what I'm doing. It is 18,000 and 8,000 only. 18,000 and 8,000. 39,000 I will make it out here. So here in computation, what I make is very, very strange. So what I would do is that in this particular case, it will be done in the ratio of 40%, 50% and 10%. So what I will do is on the figure of 20,000, I will apply 40%. On the figure of 20,000, I will apply 50%. So where from I am just getting, this is the 20,000. Correct? Where is that I am getting 40% and 50%? It is from the problem 40% and 50% I have. 40% and 50%. I am not doing in the ratio 4:5. It is not 4:5. It is 40% and 50% I am applying. So 20,000 into 40% is 8,000. 20,000 into 50% is working out to 10,000. So here we are very fortunate that this total is getting matched, but not in every problem it will match. It is rather unfortunate to find that the sum of these two is matching. Not in all problems it will match. Next one for S2, it is 10,000. 10,000 I will multiply it by 50% and 10,000 I will multiply it with 30%. So that will give me 5,000 and 3,000, and thereby I will be getting 20,000 and 19,000. So how the computation I've just made, I have communicated to you. This 10,000 only I am using. And it is not 5:3. It is not 5:3. It is 50% and 30%. And it is not 4:5 I am doing. It is 40% and 50% I am doing. And that is the way the individual distribution to P1 and P2 is exactly matching. Please understand this distribution simultaneous equation method, secondary distribution method, or under secondary distribution method, simultaneous equation method is adopted, and this is the way we have concluded. Are you understanding? So the objective of linking overheads to individual units production department is over. See, let me tell you, people are asking the question, what if the numbers will not match? So that means you are not done right. If you have done right, it will automatically match. So 20,000 plus 19,000 will be 39,000. 8,000 and 10,000, even if the sum of these two is not matching, don't worry. The total will match. That is the secret. So in this problem, we are very fortunate that 8,000 and 10,000 matching with 18,000, 5,000 and 3,000 matching with 8,000. But in majority of the problems, what you distribute here against P1 and P2, if you sum up, this will not match with here. And similarly, what you distribute between the two, it will not match. Unfortunately, in this problem, it is matching. That is the one that I'm telling you. Not in every problem, it will be just doing. Unfortunately, it is matching in this problem. Majority of the cases, it will not match at all. But these totals will match. Okay. So with that, so this secondary distribution, simultaneous equation, and a repeated distribution. Under repeated distribution, what is that you have seen? 20,000 and 19,000. Even these figures need not match. What result you are getting in direct method, step ladder method, repeated distribution method need not match. It is all various methods of approach. If I have to travel from Srinagar to Mylapore, it is not only one route I have. There are many routes I can take. I will achieve. But because of myself using different routes, I will reach the destination with different time frames. Is that clear? So objective achieved, methods are different, and because of the methods being different, there will be certain properties we will not be in a position to exactly match. So with that, this secondary distribution summary is over with how many methods? 4 methods.